What's your golden ratio? Have you heard this? What's that ratio for you, and what might it say about your long-term financial success? I've got that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. So much of how you're going to grade or rate your financial success is going to be based on how well you balance things. And I don't know, the longer I get in my career, the older I get, the more I realize that's going to be true. And that is that balance, striking the right balance between delayed gratification and some, current gratification, satisfaction, right? I'm going to treat myself to a Starbucks today versus, no, I'm going to save up for the future. This one gets me because, guys, I've got 3 kids. Spending money for the vacation today or saving up more for our retirement for the future. And so how are you going to balance that? And do you have the right balance right now? And I'm telling you, so much of how you're going to define success long term is going to be, well, did you get that ratio right? Did you get that balance correct? So I hadn't heard of this before, but I just heard this recently about your golden ratio, or it's a ratio that helps you to determine if you're in balance. And the idea is how much of your normal monthly expenses, how much of your overall expenses go towards past expenses, debt that you have, how much go towards current expenses, lifestyle and those sorts of things, and then how much goes towards future expenses, so saving up for your future. So what's your ratio between allocating today's income towards paying for stuff that I already enjoyed, so paying towards debt, enjoying it today, so current lifestyle, and then saving it for the future? What's that ratio for you? Now, if I were to give an example, say that your gross income is $5,000, okay? So a 10-80-10 golden ratio would mean, well, 10% or $500 is going to pay on credit cards or some consumer debt, some debt that you have, maybe a car loan, something like that. And that's, per month. 80% or $4,000 of the $5,000 is actually going towards your current everyday expenses. So yeah, you got to pay Uncle Sam, so taxes, but then that would include your mortgage, that would include groceries, that would include going out to eat, all that sort of stuff. So 80% or $4,000 in this 10-80-10 model. Or ratio. And then the final 10 is saving for the future. So 10% saving towards retirement. So that'd be a 10-80-10 golden ratio. Does that make sense? Now, I've never thought in this way before. So to me, I've always tried to strike the right balance. I want to have as little consumer debt as possible, or ideally avoid it. That's what we would recommend. And if you currently have some credit card debt, like most Americans, we're at a record high and record high interest rates as well, then you're going to want to minimize or limit your current lifestyle to pay for as much of that as possible to get that paid off. And then you want to have the right balance between spending today and saving for tomorrow. So I've never really thought in this golden ratio sort of approach. Morningstar recently did an article on this, and their experts were saying you should be shooting for a 10-60-30 ratio, 10-60-30 ratio, where 10% would go towards credit card debt or consumer debt, 60% would go towards your current lifestyle, including your mortgage, and then 30% saved for the long term. I don't know where they came up with that and said, hey, that's the right concoction. Personally, how does this apply to you? And I get it. The authors are saying this is going to determine so much of your long-term financial success. Well, absolutely. If the formula for building wealth is cash times time times risk, then yeah, the more cash that you can save for your financial future, the better. The more wealth you're going to be able to build up. But yeah, if it's me, I am a big believer in getting out from under the consumer debt cycle. Credit cards, absolutely, for sure. I'm a big fan of getting out from under the credit card debt if you currently have some, and then avoiding credit card debt from here on moving forward. And for those of you that have been plagued by that, you might say, well, that's not possible for the average person. Yes, it is. implementing a 3 bank account system with a certain measure of discipline and maybe accountability, some coaching as well. That is the credit card avoidance and prevention strategy, that 3 bank account system. So to me, even the need for a golden ratio sort of suggests that, well, you don't have the right structure for your present financial position or your cash flow management. That 3 bank account system is having a budget so that you know all of your normal monthly expenses. You know how much income's coming in, and then all of your fixed obligations, the mortgage, everything that is going to happen every single month, and you know the exact amount. And then all of your monthly but variable expenses as well. And so it's going to happen every month, but the amount is going to vary. You've got some discretion. So going out to eat, shopping, those sorts of things. So you've got a budget for that. And so you know I've got enough money coming in to cover all of those things and my goals. That's bank account number 1. Bank account number 2 is what are all the non-monthly expenses? They're going to come up out there in the future, but they don't happen every single month. They could be quarterly, they could be every other month, they could be once a year, maybe every few years. Car repair, car replacement, vacations, Christmas, birthdays, those sorts of things. Replacing the tires on your vehicle, that's the one that always, trips people up. And if you don't have that second bank account and it doesn't fit within that budget, saving up into that second bank account, then when those things come up, they're going to go on a credit card. Or you're going to rob Peter to pay Paul. Maybe you're going to find some cash to cover that thing, but when the next thing comes up, you're then going to have to use a credit card. And then the third bank account is your emergency fund or financial confidence account, where you're stuffing first $1,000 in there, maybe a little bit more than that right now, and then eventually building it up to 3 to 6 months of your overall lifestyle. If you've got that plan working, and guys, it takes a long time to implement, takes a lot of practice to get good at it, but once you've got that once you've got that system built, the need to use a credit card or actually build a credit card balance over time almost goes away. It's not reduced to 0, but it's very, very, very unlikely. So to me, going back to this golden ratio, I don't think in those terms, and I would actually coach you to actually do a 30, 50, 20 ratio. But that 30 for debt, I wouldn't have that be consumer debt. To me, that's the threshold at which your mortgage and all of your debt should fit within. I would include the mortgage in that. So your monthly mortgage payment, and if you have a car payment, anything like that, that should all fit into 30% or less than your monthly income. That's where I would put that governor, okay? So that's the 30. 50 would be your lifestyle, today's lifestyle, but I would make sure that includes saving for known upcoming expenses, but that are not monthly expenses. So that would include that second bank account, that delayed spending. And then that final 20%, that's what I would encourage you to save for your financial future. And you might say, well, Mike, I've heard you say 15% towards retirement. Yes, I would say that, but I would kind of build it to 20% just so you have a little extra cushion, because that 15% isn't for everyone, depends on your situation. And if you got a late start, having that 20% as what you're allocating towards savings, I like that number. So to me, I would work with your CFP, do some debt snowballing, do some budgeting, some aggressive budgeting to get rid of all of your consumer debt. And then I would pursue a 30, 50, 20 ratio where 30% is all of your mortgage and car payments, all that sort of stuff. Your 50% is your lifestyle that includes saving up for known upcoming expenses. And then 20% is saving for your financial future. But to me, there is no rule of thumb that works for everyone. You've got to look at your overall financial situation, all 6 areas of your financial life, work with your CFP on your goals and how those fit within your 6 areas of your financial life to build strategies with your cash flow plan and management to make sure that you are in balance there. So work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.